war in Afghanistan is one of the most complex and longest conflicts in modern history. It officially began in October 2001, just weeks after the devastating September 11 attacks in the United States. On that day, 19 terrorists from the extremist group Al-Qaeda hijacked 4 planes, crashing 2 into the World Trade Center in New York, 1 into the Pentagon, and 1 in Pennsylvania. Nearly 3,000 people died. The world was shocked. The U.S. government needed to respond, and fast. The U.S. accused the Taliban government in Afghanistan of harboring and supporting Al-Qaeda, so the U.S., backed by NATO allies, launched Operation Enduring Freedom with a clear goal: dismantle the Taliban regime and capture or kill Al-Qaeda leaders. The initial invasion began with airstrikes, followed by a coalition of special forces and Afghan opposition groups fighting on the ground. Within months, the Taliban government was overthrown and Al-Qaeda's camps destroyed, but this was just the beginning. The war quickly evolved from a targeted mission into a long-term occupation and nation-building effort. Afghanistan was devastated. Decades of war, civil strife, and poverty had left the country broken. The coalition forces faced a massive challenge: rebuilding infrastructure, creating a stable government, and training Afghan security forces to take over. Yet the Taliban never fully disappeared. They retreated into the mountains and rural areas, launching insurgency attacks, bombings, and assassinations. Meanwhile, corruption, tribal conflicts, and political infighting plagued the new Afghan government. The U.S. increased troop deployments, sending tens of thousands more soldiers during the surge in 2009-2011. Thousands of soldiers lost their lives in dangerous combat. More than 2,400 American service members died, and tens of thousands more were wounded. Afghan civilians also bore the brunt. Hundreds of thousands were killed, injured, or displaced. In 2011, a major milestone came when Osama bin Laden, the mastermind behind 9/11, was found and killed by U.S. Navy SEALs in Pakistan. This was seen by many as a victory in the war on terror. Still, the fighting did not end. The Taliban kept fighting and regaining territory. Peace talks began years later, but progress was slow. In 2020, the U.S. signed a historic agreement with the Taliban, promising a full withdrawal of troops by May 2021 in exchange for security guarantees. The withdrawal was completed in August 2021, but it was chaotic and tragic. The Taliban swept through the country, capturing provincial capitals and ultimately Kabul. The Afghan government collapsed almost overnight. Thousands of Afghans who had worked with the U.S. and NATO desperately tried to flee. Images of crowded airports, frantic evacuations, and uncertainty made headlines worldwide. The war had ended, but the future of Afghanistan was uncertain. The Afghanistan War left deep scars, not only physical but psychological and political. It forced the world to ask hard questions. What is the cost of prolonged military intervention? Can foreign powers rebuild a country torn apart by centuries of conflict? And what happens to the people caught in the crossfire? For U.S. veterans, the war's legacy is mixed: pride in service, but also trauma and loss. For Afghans, it's a complicated story of resilience, suffering, and hope for peace. The Afghanistan War is a reminder that history is never simple. It's a story of ideals and realities clashing on the harshest battlefields, and its impact will be felt for generations.